In the late 60s and 70s, Earl Monroe personified funk. After honing his game on the playgrounds of Philly, he brought his unique style and scoring punch to the Baltimore Bullets and New York Knicks, nicknamed the Pearl. He won an NBA title with New York in 1973.
To Monroe, he moves to the corner, he stops, fade away, yes!
Earl could do things that other players wouldn't even attempt to do. And some people would have said that what he was doing was showboating, and it wasn't. What he was doing was just getting an advantage, and he used his incredible ball handling skills. I mean, I think he might have been one of the first players I ever saw that would put the ball between their legs, not once, twice, and then do another move and do a reverse spin move or something. And I mean, you're just left there like you're standing in concrete.
Earl had a lot of style to his game. You know, he would make you go for one of those head fakes or shoulder fakes, whatever. Earl was about 6'2", and when he had the ball, he used to like to wheel around, turn his back on you, wheel around you, and come up with fakes, and either shooting over you or, for that matter, going under you. Earl the Pearl, he was something.
To Frazier, to Reed, to Monroe.
When Earl ended up going to New York, and he was the star of Baltimore, scoring everything that you can imagine, he was willing to sacrifice his own personal abilities for the team's benefit and ended up winning a world championship with the Knickerbockers.
We actually played against each other in high school, a high school all-star game in Allentown, Pennsylvania. And Earl played with the Pennsylvania All-Stars. I played with the DC All-Stars. And that particular tournament, I won the MVP. But I saw Earl as really an outstanding showman more than anything else. I mean, he's a great player, but he had this flair about him where everything that he did was for show.
Earl was so flamboyant, so creative that, you know, he could do something that he'd never even thought about doing and pull it off like he'd practiced it all his life.
Simply put, he was the Pearl, Earl Monroe, a huge part of the Knicks' last championship run back in 1973. What did he mean to the NBA?
Oh, I mean, the Pearl was one of the first silky smooth players that you thought were cool to watch him play. I mean, the spin move, his ability to create shots, terrific passer. And it's funny because that was right when I first started watching basketball, and he got traded to the Knicks from the Baltimore Bullets. And I was really excited because Clyde Frazier was one of my favorite players. And I was like to see those two guys, two maestros, play together. But this is a guy that could just flat out score. Rookie year, drops 56 in a game. And that got everybody's attention. And on the playgrounds, you know, we were all out emulating these great players. And Earl the Pearl, everybody wanted to be the Pearl. First of all, he had the coolest nickname going.
Yep.
And it matched who he was as a player. And then it was great that he was able to win a championship. And for a stretch there, he was as good as anybody that had ever played that position.
Flash alone does not get you on this list, but there is something to be said for the style with which the Pearl played.
Yeah, and you know, he had better stats prior to getting to New York, but the appreciation for his greatness came when he showed that he could fit within the team concept and win. And that was the beauty, because it was thought to be a bit of a risk when the Knicks made that move to bring him on board. How would those guys all fit? Because they had such a good chemistry with that existing roster, but he fed in seamlessly. And really, probably without him, they don't win that championship. He was so instrumental in their success, and really was one of the guys that was a signature for our league, because you just idolized his ability. He could do stuff on the floor back then that you didn't think was possible. And he didn't do it with athletic ability. His ability to handle it, get to spots out on the floor, and create his offense, it was magical at times to watch this man play the game.
Well, in New York, you really never saw the Pearl. You saw Earl Monroe, who is so mature in terms of his mindset of the game of basketball, that he understood that if he came to New York with the New York Knicks and he brought the game that he had with the Baltimore Bullets, it would disrupt what they were doing. So what he did was he took his game, put it in his hip pocket, and said, I can play basketball. I mean, I can remember calling Earl and he's saying, well, Sonny, I really need a bigger platform. That's the reason that he wanted to leave Baltimore. He just felt that he needed to be on a bigger stage. So when they traded him in New York, I said, Earl, how you gonna fit in? He said, Sonny, I can play basketball.